Hey, welcome to EPN. My name is Victor Lucas, and we bring you the latest in everything cool every single day. Today, this rundown is dedicated to everybody that came and said hello to me at EGLX in Toronto. I had an incredible time at the gaming exposition that Enthusiast Gaming put on. They were terrific hosts, and I got to hang out with 8-Bit Beans, and I had a blast. But the best thing about it was getting to see all of you fine people. Thank you so much for joining me. Let's get started with our rundown. The hero of time might be venturing into the strange and unexplored world of television. It looks like a Legend of Zelda TV series from Nintendo and Netflix is getting closer to reality. Producer Adi Shankar, who oversees the animated Castlevania series, has announced that he's working on a new adaptation of another iconic video game series, and he's doing it with another big Japanese game company. Several outlets are reporting that this is the long-rumored animated Zelda series, which Netflix was first rumored to be working on back in 2015. Nintendo denied the rumors at the time, but since then, they've begun working with other Hollywood studios to adapt more and more of their valuable properties for film and television, and Zelda is easily one of their biggest. If it's the real deal, expect more details soon. Now, I have not seen the second season of Castlevania, which I think is just hitting Netflix, or just hit Netflix, but I loved the first season. I thought that Shankar and his team did a great job, so I am cautiously incredibly optimistic about the idea of a Zelda animated show made with that same pedigree and that same kind of commitment to the license and the property. There's a lot of lore to mine in a show around Zelda because Link has had so many different adventures and iterations and adaptations within Nintendo's own universes. So it'll be interesting to see where they go. Is it going to be a Breath of the Wild style show? Is it going to be around A Link to the Past or Ocarina of Time? It's going to be very cool to see what they do. Maybe they'll do like a multiple universes kind of thing, and Link is looking into some magic mirrors and sees all different kinds of... I don't know. I'm not making the show. I can't wait to watch it. The tiny PlayStation Classic is looking better and better, or is it? Sony has announced the full list of the 20 games that will be included on the tiny retro console. On top of already announced classics like Final Fantasy VII, Tekken 3, Wild Arms, and Ridge Racer Type 4, we now know that it will also include the original Grand Theft Auto, the first Metal Gear Solid, the PlayStation 1 version of Mr. Driller, Oddworld Abe's Odyssey, Ubisoft's original Rainbow Six and Rayman game, Capcom's director's cut of the original Resident Evil, and, of course, Sony's own classic Twisted Metal. This means Sony is working with other publishers to bring mostly third-party games to the system, which sets it apart from Nintendo's retro consoles, which are mostly first-party games. The PlayStation Classic hits stores December 3rd and will cost $130 in Canada. Listen, I'm as entertained by the idea of hooking up a PlayStation 1 and playing all these games through HDMI. The problem for me is that I have all of those games. I have them on disc, and I have a PlayStation 3 that will play all of those games if I want to. Now, I know I'll be burning the motor on that PlayStation 3 if I do start playing those games. And there's, a likelihood that I have hardware that will stop being able to access those games. But I have them sitting right there. So it's a little bit more difficult for me to get super enthused about all of that. But, I'm a nostalgic buff just like you guys, and I'm a collector just like you guys. So, I'm going to be curious to check this out for sure, but it isn't that same like, oh my God, I've got to drop everything and get this right away that I had with the NES Mini and the SNES Mini. But I definitely want to hear what you guys think. Are you super stoked for the PlayStation Retro, or are you more sort of leaning in the Nintendo because you love the old carts and the old, NES and SNES days? So let me know in the comments below. All right, nothing says the Old West more than cowboys, horses, revolvers, and virtual reality headsets. Red Dead Redemption 2 might be coming to VR. That's according to the official companion app for the game, which the fan site Rockstar Intel has discovered contains several references to the Oculus Rift, as well as references to the long-rumored PC version. This seems to suggest that a VR version is on the way. Red Dead Redemption does include a first-person mode, which seems like it would work well in VR. Whatever they do, the game is already a hit. Rockstar says it earned $725 million worldwide in its first week, making it not only the biggest launch week for a game, but the biggest for any entertainment property ever. And that is the sentence to underline right there, and the thing for everyone to realize about the cultural significance of Rockstar's titles and Red Dead Redemption and video games of this magnitude. I was in Toronto last week shooting for Recon, which I'll talk to you guys about in a little bit, but I was listening to the news to, sort of wake up and get ready every day. nobody was talking about Red Dead Redemption 2. You know, I mostly listened to the CBC, but because no commercials, but nobody was talking about Red Dead Redemption 2. Not on launch day, nothing. Nobody had anybody phone in or chat about its significance, and I just think that's unbelievable. What a tremendous amount of, you know, overlooking a very huge story that's out there in multiple ways. Don't get me wrong, there's some controversy around this game as well, but it's, and I've been dabbling. I'm going to talk to you guys a little bit about Red Dead Redemption 2 in this show, but yeah, it's massive, it's significant, it's important, and it should be discussed not just in our circles, not just in the groups that know a lot about video games, but when you throw numbers like $725 million in a week, everybody should be paying attention to that. Everybody that understands art or commerce should be paying attention to that. And I think that means everybody on Earth, every human, pretty much. Because we all dig art, we all dig a little bit of money, I think. Okay, all right, you don't have to wait for the new Aquaman movie to start exploring the oceans. Hello Games has released the latest update for their space exploration game called The Abyss. It improves the underwater gameplay, giving you the ability to build underwater bases and pilot underwater craft. It also has new story content based around underwater settings, which has a dark and creepy tone just in time for Halloween. The Abyss is available now as a free update on all platforms, and every time we do a story about new content in No Man's Sky, I want to jump back in, but I don't have the time right now. I'm playing as a cowboy in Red Dead Redemption 2, but this is super cool. It's definitely, you know, super compelling and intriguing. I want to jump back into this, and I also want to jump into the pirate game, too, from Rare. What the hell was that called? I've already forgotten. It says Sea of Thieves. I want to jump into that as well. You know, these persistent, you know, ever-present universes that are on all the time, and you can go back into those worlds and explore everything. You know, I get the reason why people get compelled and stay with them, but it's tough for someone that's like trying to stay on top of everything to stay with all of these crazy, huge updates that these companies do. But good on you, Hello Games. It's awesome that it's free. I know No Man's Sky fans are going to be very appreciative of that. That's going to do it for our rundown today. Thank you so much for watching. Now let's move on to this day in everything cool.